Hello and welcome to Weird Around Illinois. Today we're going to talk a little bit about ghosts, and this will probably be just part one of our discussion about ghosts. We really want to delve into the idea of what is a ghost, and more specifically, what is a ghost if it's not what everyone thinks it is, which is a spirit of a departed person or animal or whatever. So in this first part, we're going to talk about ghosts versus mind power, and whether or not ghosts could be created through the mind. So let's talk about it, and let's get weird. So I guess the overriding question is, could you create a ghost with the power of your mind? And if so, how? So I guess before we delve into that, we should probably talk about the different type of things that are out there that we call ghosts.
Yeah, so the first, of course, is ghosts. People often say they see like a woman in white. That could be an example of a ghost. Or there's a lot of times like ghosts of children. A lot of these are after like people have passed. They see like their ghosts around. And they see their physical body, but just like transparent.
Okay, so these are they look like actual people. There's no questioning that what you're seeing is a person. It's just a question of whether it's a living person or whether it's a ghost.
Right.
Ghost is a pretty general way of putting it. I'm sure there's many different variations that can go within the ghost, but yeah, overall, I guess you get a little bit more detail out of that.
Yeah.
In characteristics, physical characteristics.
Yeah.
And then there's also shadow figures, which is generally less detailed. A lot of people say they see like some, shadowy figure, but they don't necessarily see a face or specific details.
And I notice a lot of times the proportions aren't necessarily normal human proportions either. Like the shadow figure will be too tall, or the arms will be too long, or the legs will be too long, or something like that.
Yeah, or they just won't see legs at all.
Right.
Yeah, with a lot of cases, I normally hear that they you could see the body, but it kind of meshes together. You could see the outline of a humanoid or whatever it might be, but you can't really see things too separated, nor can you see like specific details either.
Now, are shadow people always evil? Is there always a negative connotation with them?
Not always, I don't think. Obviously they look really creepy, with no facial details or anything. It's just a dark black filled outline.
So you think people may interpret them as evil every time just because they're dark and they're not what we like to see?
Maybe. That's a stereotype, I guess. I don't know. Some people could just perceive it as something spectating them.
Okay.
And we know people who've seen them like several times and continuously see them.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's evil, they feel like, sometimes not. It depends on the person, really.
Okay.
But lastly, there's poltergeists, which are known to like throw objects, make noises, make their presence known, basically, even if we can't see what they are.
These things are, in fact, evil to some degree.
Or at least mischievous.
Yeah. Well, I shouldn't say evil per se, but like they have ill intent for some reason. The reason may vary.
Yeah. I'm going to throw another one in there. And this one probably falls somewhere between ghosts and shadow figures, but orbs. That's another way that, spirits sometimes manifest themselves, or people sometimes lump them in the category with ghosts. And those are just like little round balls of light, or sometimes balls of darkness, I guess. Oftentimes they show up on cameras, but they don't show up in actual sight, which makes a lot of people wonder if they're just, tricks of the light or, malfunction of the camera or something like that. But sometimes people see them.
Yeah.
So now that we know what we're dealing with when we're talking about the broad term of ghosts, let's talk about some mind powers and how they might approximate some of these things that we are calling ghosts. Let's start with an easy one. Telekinesis. That's the ability to move things with your mind. And again, there are probably as many people who believe or disbelieve in mind powers like telekinesis as there are people who believe or disbelieve in ghosts. So by saying this is a possible explanation for a ghost, you have to first believe that telekinesis exists. And just like with ghosts, there are thousands upon thousands of people who will tell you it's been proven that telekinesis exists and they know somebody who can do it, and they've seen this expert do this study and therefore it proves the existence of it. It really comes down to what you believe. If you don't believe in it, nobody's ever going to convince you. If you do believe in it, nobody's ever going to convince you that it doesn't exist. So let's just talk about it as if it's a real thing, because for many of us, it is a real thing. Telekinesis, again, is the ability to move things with your mind. And sometimes it's a small thing, just moving a little ball across the table or across the room or something. Sometimes it's a little bit more powerful. You can throw something across the room. And what does that sound like to you guys?
The Force.
Well, yeah, good point. Size matters not. You can throw the bed or you can throw the ball.
Yeah, so you're asking what exactly telekinesis means to us.
No, I'm asking if it reminds you of a particular type of spirit act.
Oh. I mean, I guess the closest would just be poltergeist, for sure, because thrown objects, telekinesis, those are both stereotypes, so...
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there have been a lot of cases where a paranormal investigator has come in to look for a poltergeist, and what they find is they have a very disturbed teenager in the house or child in the house who exhibits higher than usual telekinetic ability. And maybe they're in a abuse situation or something, and their frustration is coming out in these telekinetic tantrums that appear like a poltergeist, but in fact it's actually just the mental energy of the person in the house.
Or the restaurant. I mean, there's many restaurants out there where people say they see objects being thrown everywhere, whatever. Yeah. And it's possible that there was some manager or something that was there and was mad at the employees or something. You never know.
Yeah, or an employee who's mad at the manager and is afraid to speak up, and this is how their subconscious mind is choosing to manifest its anger.
Yeah.
Another idea or mind power is manifestation, and with this, I mean, you go a really long way with theories, and I'm gonna bring in some tinfoil hat kind of theories here with this.
I love a good tinfoil hat.
Yeah, we've mentioned this in some other podcasts, but there have been a lot of theories that if you use your mind enough, and you think about one particular idea, or you have some kind of crazy, above normal emotional response to something, there's been theories that you could manifest some originally theoretical idea or concept or physical thing into reality. Once more, tinfoil hat there. But I think people have actually like claimed that they've done that before with the rake, right?
Yeah, that was a possible explanation for the rake. The government studied it really closely. They went through that whole thing. Of course, I can't remember the name of it now, but it's, I know HemiSync works with it a lot right now, but it was from the institute where they were studying the ability to manifest things with the mind, and the CIA did an in-depth study of it. The Monroe Institute, that's what I was trying to think of.
Oh.
And the Monroe method. Interesting stuff that I've studied personally quite a bit. It's kind of a blend of manifestation and astral travel and some other things, but they really believe that you can alter reality by kind of mentally cracking the code. Now, I will say my personal experience with this as a teenager, I had a very good friend, and we, of course, were into these paranormal things, and we had been reading about how to manifest things. And we decided that what we really needed to be happy in life was $6 billion.
$6 billion.
That's what we did. We sat and we tried and we performed the rituals and we did the meditations and we did everything humanly possible to manifest the $6 billion. We had a plan on how we were going to spend every dime of that $6 billion because we were so sure that we were going to get this $6 billion. Now, all that ever happened, and he swears one day he heard a thump on the roof of his apartment building. And he never went up to see what it was, but he believes to this day that it could have been the big crates of money finally arriving.
All the way from above, from heaven, it drops down $6 billion.
Yeah, fell out of a government helicopter or something, however it manifests. Or just appeared.
I'm surprised you didn't check.
I am too, actually.
Yeah, if it was that loud. Then...
Yeah, I asked him several times, why don't you just go up and look? But no, he never did, or at least he claims he never did. Maybe he's got the $6 billion now and he kept it all to himself.
Yeah, well, you could kind of use that example as well for the more tamed down, reasonable, and I guess slightly psychologically proven idea that if you believe something will happen, then you will eventually be able to, like, I guess, put that into motion and actually make it happen.
Yeah, like more of a less paranormal explanation, like it becomes such an internal focus that you are taking the steps necessary to make it a reality.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes sense. Hard to do with a ghost, though.
Yeah.
I mentioned somewhere in all that astral projection, and that is the idea that you are projecting your spirit or your soul or some part of yourself outside of your physical body. And this is another thing that was studied in depth at the Monroe Institute. I've been reading Mr. Monroe's book recently, and he details several journeys that he takes outside of his body and the things that he sees and the ways that he's proven that he's done that. I've had a few experiences myself that I've talked about before, but some people, including Mr. Monroe, feel like there is, or Dr. Monroe, I guess I should say, feel that there is a part of you that is visible when you're traveling outside of your body, and it is almost ghost-like. It's like a transparent version of yourself. Not everybody can see it, but some people who are especially sensitive can. He said there have been times when people have looked right at him when he's been astrally traveling, and some have even like interacted with him, although they knew that he wasn't really there. So that would be a perfect explanation of a ghost, because it would be someone with a physical form, a physical human form that would be very identifiable, but transparent and kind of ghostly looking. And maybe if they weren't as good at it, maybe they would travel just as kind of an amorphous blob and look more like a shadow person or an orb.
This reminds me of the one scene from Avengers Endgame where, like, the Professor Hulk got punched out of his body, and it was just his transparent self.
Mm-hmm. That was an astral projection of himself.
Yeah,
the hard way.
Yeah. Well, one other idea of a mind power that possibly be true is hypnosis. So basically, when one person has a firm belief on something, it could definitely have an influence on others. And in extreme cases, this could happen where, you know, if one person convinces another person that, like, one physical being is real, or you know, one subject is real, then they could sort of manifest that, I guess you could say, in a similar rate into reality.
Yeah, that could certainly happen with ghosts. I mean, if something falls off a shelf and I tell you, oh my god, the ghost just knocked that off the shelf.
Yeah, then you'll be convinced.
Yeah, you're going to be a lot closer to it, to being convinced than otherwise. And if you're in the right frame of mind, and if I were to say it in just the right way, that it's a suggestion to your subconscious mind, you could be even more convinced. And the example I always use for hypnosis, and to me, hypnosis is settled science. I mean, there's enough proof of hypnosis working, at least on some people, that it's not really a question anymore. But I think this was in a book. It was many, many years ago I read this book. It was an excerpt by, I believe, Ramon Delgado. And he was talking about this science experiment where this teacher, in front of his classroom, he warns them. He's like, okay, I've got a beaker full of ammonia here. We're going to do a test to see how fast this smell reaches each of you. It's really, really powerful. So just let me know, raise your hand when you can smell it. And so he opens the top of the beaker, and he immediately reacts and like backs up and holds his nose, and you know, he puts his hand up like, okay, I smell it. And after a few minutes or a few seconds, the person in the front row, one of them puts their hand up and says, oh God, that's awful. And then everyone around him starts to put their hand up, and it moves like a wave all the way to the back of the room until finally everyone in the class has their hand up. And then he reveals that what was in the beaker was water. He just managed to convince them through so overemphasizing how powerful the smell was that they smelled it.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So why couldn't you do that with a ghost?
Yeah.
Especially if you've got like 2 or 3 people who are claiming that they see the ghost, and then, you know, your mind is like, okay, there must be something wrong with how I'm perceiving it. Of course there's a ghost there.
Yeah, I mean, it's like looking at an illusion. I mean, someone's gonna point something out that you didn't recognize, and then suddenly you see it because you're looking for that outline.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's a lot of sense.
So now that we've unveiled the possible mental ways that a ghost could be created, what do you guys believe? Do you think that these could explain some cases of hauntings? Do you think they explain all cases of hauntings? Or do you think that the mind powers are just, you know, not related to ghosts at all?
Well, I'd say it could cover quite a few cases, but I will say there are definitely some in the world that could be disproven with other things. And, you know, there's one segment that we didn't include in this video that, you know, hallucinations could be something that could answer a lot of ghost sightings, but that's
if
not
it's just
necessarily
one person who sees it.
Yeah, and that's not a mind power. That's your mind reacting to something.
Yeah, and it's kind of similar to hypnosis, though, where you're so convinced that you're going to see something that if anything out of the ordinary happens, you're convinced that it's what you were expecting to see.
Yeah, except it's your mind convincing you
Right.
that you're currently looking at something.
Exactly. What about you?
I think it could definitely be related to ghosts. I think different people probably have different traits, I guess, out of all these things that we've talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Some stronger than others, and I think it could very well be connected to ghosts, how people see ghosts, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, like half of the list on mind powers wasn't necessarily like fully proven that exists. Like manifestation, we don't know if that is truly possible, but either way, it's a rare thing. Very, 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 very rare.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm in kind of an awkward spot here because I believe in ghosts, I believe in shadow figures, I believe in poltergeists, even though I haven't seen direct proof per se. Similarly, I believe in most powers of the mind. I mean, I've never seen telekinesis personally. I've never seen manifestation personally. I have experienced astral projection. I have experienced and done hypnosis. So basically, what I'm saying is that everything we discussed here today is real to me until somebody tells me otherwise. So, or until somebody proves otherwise to me, I should say. So I guess I have to go with some sightings are real ghosts and some sightings are mind powers. And we have to keep an open mind to either possibility when we do an investigation, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and I'd be curious if we ever have more people on our investigations, if they have any of these different powers that we might not.
Yeah, that's a good question. I've always said we need to get certain types of people to add to our team, like a psychic. We desperately need a psychic.
So if you're a psychic and you're within Illinois, northern Illinois, email us.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely. I forgot what other ones I've said, but I know somewhere along the line I've named a few people. I know when we've gone looking for Dogman, I've said we need to find somebody with a high-powered rifle, but I think we could, if we go to Southern Illinois, there are plenty of people like that around, so
Yeah.
we should be fine. I think you're right. You could very, very easily affect the outcome of an investigation if you have someone with you who has one of these mental powers, whether they are choosing to use it or whether they're using it accidentally. So we'd love to hear your thoughts on this, and we thank you for coming with us on this journey, and we hope to talk more with you in the future about ghosts, and we hope to spend some more time looking for ghosts. So as always, thank you for listening, and thank you for subscribing.